Why are they just everywhere? How many are there? How are you gonna keep a baby quiet? Generic intro and that goes mirror. Back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing A Quiet Place, which came out in 2018. It's a movie I've heard of, and a lot of people really enjoy it and love it, and I've never seen it. I know nothing about it. I think you just have to, like, stay quiet or something or die. I have no idea. Last week we had a little issue when starting My Bloody Valentine 3D that it started playing this one for some reason. I don't know. Let's go ahead jumping into it. Any issues? Any issues this time? Okay. Okay, cool. Cool.
Welcome to the Kill
YouTube's
Count.
behaving
We tally
now.
up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm
Go
James
watch
A.
last
Denise,
week's
and
video.
today
Link
we're
down below in
looking
the
at A
description.
Quiet Place, released in 2018 by director and co-writer John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Krasinski took a
Which I think
serious
he's from
liking to
The Office.
the screenplay written by
Haven't
Scott
seen
Beck
it,
and
but
Brian
I've seen clips
Woods,
of it.
mostly because he had recently become a father, and A Quiet Place is all about keeping your family alive. Adding to how
By being
personal
quiet.
this movie became for him, Krasinski's real-life wife, Emily Blunt, co-stars as his in-movie
Wait,
wife.
really?
So if you've ever wanted to watch Jack Ryan and Mary Poppins raise a family in a post-apocalyptic world, this movie's for you. The dangerous world in A Quiet Place is inhabited by monsters who will kill the hell out of you if you make any noise. Thus the movie's tagline, if they hear you, they hunt you. Because of this
Whoa,
premise,
why do they
A
look so
Quiet
scary?
Place is a remarkably quiet movie. Just look at the sound waves for the movie file in Premiere. Now compare
That's
that
it?
to the sound waves from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which came out the same year. Crazy, right? There are
Oh.
more flat lines there than a hospital with a power outage. It makes for an enjoyable
So,
intense viewing
yikes.
experience that'll leave you seriously regretting
what
that
if
order
you
of
don't make the
nachos.
noise?
How many
What if
people
you,
end
like,
up
throw
getting
something
killed
that
because
makes
they
noise?
just couldn't keep their mouths shut? Shh, let's find out and get to them.
Like, what? Also, hopefully there's no
The
copyright
movie
issues with this one.
begins 89 days after an alien invasion that's left towns like this one completely deserted. Amidst this silent emptiness, the Abbott family scavenges for medical supplies.
Is there, like, a
Mother
decibel
Evelyn,
level?
a doctor, knows just what to get for her ailing son Marcus. Although she
Like, what
has
if
to
you
be
step on
very
something,
careful
like
not
glass?
to make any noise while she's grabbing it. Here you go, Marcus.
Okay,
Pills are good.
Yeah, who can
Pills are
operate a pill
good.
bottle
The
without
youngest
making
child in
noise?
the family is little boy Bo, and he's not as careful as his mom when it comes to being quiet. Luckily, he's got older sister Reagan looking
That didn't
out
make
for
a
him,
noise?
keeping everyone not killed. Reagan is a deaf character played by actually deaf actress Millicent Simmons, who helped teach
That's
the
sick.
rest of the cast the American Sign Language they use throughout this movie. As they're getting ready to leave, Bo walks up to them, and the rest of the family reacts like he's pointing a gun at him. Turns out he's just got a noise-making rocket ship toy that Father Lee has to disable by way of removing the batteries. Listen to your pops, kid. That toy's too loud. As the family leaves the pharmacy, Reagan tries to be a good sister and give Bo his toy back, telling him to keep that shit on the DL. Snitches get stitches.
But hopefully
But
without the
unbeknownst
batteries?
to her, that little bastard grabs the batteries on his way out too. And so it's not long after this family
That's
starts
gonna come
heading
back, isn't
home,
it?
walking carefully along a sand-strewn path to keep their footsteps quiet, that things go wrong. It happens after we're introduced to a great feature of this film, the way it jumps between different hearing perspectives of the characters.
What do you mean? Oh, he hears
Yeah, the
nothing
movie's
but
not
just
afraid to
sees
go
everybody's
completely
response.
silent when we're hearing things from Reagan's perspective, and thus she doesn't realize at first when that rocket toy starts making lots of noise because
And
Bo
you
has put
done
the
did it.
batteries back in it. Lee bolts towards Bo in silent terror, trying to beat the creature he sees headed towards
Why are
his
they just
youngest,
everywhere?
But he doesn't prove fast.
How many
enough.
are there?
Right before he reaches him, Bo is attacked and killed by an alien monster. That's how you know a movie's playing for keeps, when it kills its cute little kid character in the first 10 minutes. Damn.
Wow, and the
man,
first
I
kills
guess
a
there's
kid.
not too much to say after seeing something like that, other than title card. That's a dusty quiet place.
Kind of
It's
reminds me
now
of the
more than 1 year
TV show
later, and the
Falling
Abbott family
Skies.
has
It was
done everything
awesome.
they can
Loved that
to
show on
adapt to
TNT.
this new way of
Me and my
living,
dad used to watch
including
it.
having a bunch of cameras watching over their property and reminding themselves of their circumstances with admittedly cheesy newspaper headlines and whiteboard musings. No, I don't think Lee would actually write, "What is the weakness?" on his whiteboard, but they've got to give us exposition
I mean,
somehow,
what
and
if you
it ain't
just
about
give
to
him a
be through
flashbang or
dialogue.
something?
In a matter of minutes, we learn everything we need
Or
to
one
know
of those,
here,
like,
primarily that the aliens
anti-piracy
operate on sound and
sound
that there are
thing
3
that
of them in
ships
the
have.
area. Great. Although Lee's
There's
efforts
only
to
3 of them in the
contact
area?
other
Okay.
countries with
How do you know?
SOS radio signals have proven unsuccessful so far, we do see that there are other survivors in this world based on the beacons of Gondor he sees lit up in the distance. Lee makes sure to light his own flame to let those nearby families know, hey, still here, haven't gotten killed by the monsters yet. Part of
Well,
the reason
not
they've
all of us,
survived
but-
so long enough to deck out their entire farm in Christmas lights, is because they've listened to that newspaper headline and are constructing a living quarters underground. This subterranean hang zone is being prepared in anticipation anticipation of a new baby. Which, like, damn, Evelyn and Lee.
How are you
that
gonna
is
keep
a
a baby
risky move
quiet
in this world?
Yeah.
You literally gotta be quiet all the time. How are you about to have a baby? #1 source of crying and loud poopy butts. But for many people, there's no point in living if you can't carry on the species. Thanks, evolution. And risking everything to have a baby is very on brand for this movie's themes of familial love and survival. In further preparation for the baby, they've created a breathing-friendly casket bed full of stuffed animals and are paper-macheing the walls in the basement to help muffle sound. Other than that, though, they're just trying to live normal lives.
They're
Evelyn homeschools the kids, although I guess band is out of the question. She makes floorboard fish dinners, just, you know, can't have that skin too crispy. And the kids play everyone's favorite quiet board game, Softopoly. I guess it's actually not that hard to be quiet all the time. Oh shit! Lee puts out the fire, but they're worried the damage is done. Was that noise loud enough to bring upon the wrath of the Sonic Hunters? A noise on the roof seems to suggest so, but when Lee goes to check out the window...
It's not.
Oh, it was just a couple of cute trash bandits. Can't be squealing all loud like that, little buddies, or else you're gonna wind up being alien food.
Oh god.
Lee spends a lot of his time trying to educate himself about the human ear so he can fix up Reagan's cochlear
they're not
implant.
blind, right?
It's a lot of hard work, so he's got to make sure to take the occasional break and be a good husband by silently slow dancing with Evelyn to some Neil Young on their headphones. Good thing they've got Harvest Moon available and aren't just stuck with his latter-day Monsanto material. That would be a bummer. The next day, as Lee prepares for Sandwalk and Evelyn listens to their unborn baby's heartbeat,
yeah, the kid's gonna be born. Don't most babies cry when they're born?
No, she is not allowed down there. Lee tells her that she knows why she's not allowed, but I'm actually not sure. Is it because she'll make noise? I don't know. He tries to give her his latest hearing aid effort, but she's resistant because his attempts to fix the implant never seem to work. And sure enough, this latest iteration doesn't appear to have done the trick. Reagan is a headstrong little girl, and despite the dangers, she wants to come with Lee on one of his scavenging missions. But he tells her that she needs to stay home with Evelyn, and instead takes along Marcus,
in order to
who
feed
is
that
not
kind of
excited
family,
to
you
leave
kind
the
of have
safety
to
of this homestead. Lee takes Marcus to a river to collect some fish, and it's there that he fills him in on a little secret. They can make small noises as long as there's something louder around them, like a river, to drown them out. And if they want to make big noises, well, waterfall! Chug, chug,
so
chug.
It's
actually impressive how out of place human dialogue sounds when you finally hear it in this movie.
All right. Who was the first person to test this?
In fact, the sound design, done by Erica Dahl and Ethan Van Der Ren, sound editors who have worked on everything from Lord of the Rings to Transformers, has been nominated for an Academy Award. Sadly, it's about the only representation the horror genre got from the Oscars this year, because Annihilation and Toni Collette were fucking robbed. During the father and son's waterfall-covered conversation, Marcus asks Lee if he blames Reagan for the death of Bo, and more pointedly, if Lee still loves his daughter.
Of course I do.
You should tell her.
Because even though a year has passed,
how you gonna tell
Bo's
her?
death still weighs heavily on everyone in this family. Evelyn takes the time to quietly cry in his old room, and Reagan, who blames herself for her little bro's death, sneaks away from home to visit his memorial and leave the toy rocket ship there. Only after neutralizing its sound-making capabilities, of course.
Oh, so it still lights up.
A Quiet Place is as much a dramatic family story as it is a horror movie, and that's okay. On their way home from the waterfall, Marcus and Lee run into an old man in the woods who's standing over the body of a woman. The lady is likely his wife, and it looks like she's been eviscerated. I'm assuming she got clawed down by the aliens?
Accidentally made a sound.
Maybe her husband killed her, who knows? In any case, it scares the living shit out of Marcus, and Lee does his best to tell the old man to STFU. But the dude doesn't listen, and instead, after he eats his own chin, what the fuck?
I think he's just like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Lee and Marcus
How do you run through the
guy
woods?
gets killed in an apparent suicide by monster. Hey,
Yeah.
to be fair, it seems like the monsters kill you quickly. So if you're looking to go out, might as well cause a ruckus and do it that way. Back at home,
I guess
Evelyn's
after that.
menial laundry work ends up being a forebearer of danger after she accidentally exposes a nail in the steps. That proves to be
Someone's
pretty
gonna step on
inconvenient later on after she discovers that her water has broken. As she heads downstairs,
And she's gonna
to flip
step on it.
the
She's gonna
warning
step on
light,
it.
She steps right onto the newly freed nail. But thankfully, Evelyn is one tough lady, and she manages to stay quiet even as she has to pry her own foot free. Unfortunately, during this
Kind of reminds me
knocked
when
over a glass picture
my
frame,
ex
so
lived
after
with
she
me,
makes it over to a light switch
and she was
activates the
asleep
red
in the
warning
bed,
lights they
and
strung
I
inside on their farm. She goes to
kicked
return
one of the
upstairs
feet
only
of my
to find
bed
there's an
frame.
alien in the house. And I don't think it's here to be a
and I was
midwife.
so quiet,
Evelyn
and she's
thinks
like, "Why
fast
would you do
and
that?"
sets
And
a
then I
big
just
timer on
like,
herself, then bloodily steps
I didn't
away
mean
over
to.
the other side of the basement to hide. The monster
like
comes
5 in the morning.
downstairs and, with its super gross super hearing, detects the ticking of the egg timer. After the alarm goes off, the alien freaks out and attacks it, affording Evelyn the chance to escape upstairs. Lee and Marcus make it back home and see the red warning lights, which sends them into a panic. Lee assigns Marcus to rocket duty so he can create a distraction and save Evelyn.
Oh,
who by
make a
now
firework.
has made it into a bathtub where she's painfully awaiting to give birth, biting her tongue to stay hidden from the monster creeping up behind her. Luckily, Marcus doesn't take a long time, and he becomes a rocket man right before it's too late. The noisy distraction.
Wow,
is seen
that
by
probably
Reagan,
woke
who
up
starts
all-
heading home,
that's a
while
lot of
Lee
fireworks.
runs
You're
into
really
the
going through
house
all
with
of
a
them.
shotgun at the ready. He follows his wife's bloody footsteps upstairs, and although she's missing from the bathtub, a
How'd you
cheap
drain it
jump
that
scare
fast?
alerts him that she's now hiding in the shower along with their beautiful new replacement baby.
But you gotta keep the baby quiet.
Maybe keep the toys
Also-
away from this one, huh? Lee carries his
Also,
wife and newborn over to the maternity barn so they can deal with this baby, who immediately
Very quiet
begins
baby.
wailing his little baby lungs out. Yeah, you better get under that mattress hole cover, bud. But don't worry too much about the Abbotts. They're very prepared for this moment. Look,
Also,
it's
she
a
delivered
baby
a baby
in box.
by
The
herself. That's
newspaper
kinda
walls in
crazy.
their underground room work well enough to allow them to talk. So in her first spoken dialogue of the film, Evelyn tells Lee to go find their other kids and bring them back home to safety.
Who are we if we can't protect them?
He promises her and heads out from their underground room, somehow not noticing that a nearby broken pipe is currently flooding the entire barn. Seriously, how do you not
What?
hear that? And what
Yeah, that's a
broke
lot.
that pipe? Monsters, I guess? On
Yeah.
her way back to the farm,
I guess
Reagan
a
is
monster.
unknowingly approached by one of the monsters coming out of the cornfield. Although her
didn't hear that?
disability prevents her from hearing that
Oh.
it's behind her,
Yeah.
there is a reaction with her new cochlear implant that causes discomfort for both of them.
Why did I
The
just hear a
ends
noise
up
in my
being
house?
so painful to the alien monster that it runs away. And when the implant quiets down in response, Reagan realizes that she's got some monster radar in her head. I think.
Huh?
Is that what she's realizing there? She continues on her way and meets up with Marcus.
But
so together they head
it
to
didn't
the
go
top of
off
the grain
when
silo and light a
when
signal
Bo
fire
died.
to show where they are. But eventually they run out of lighter fluid. And although Marcus wants to stay there, believing that Lee will come for them, Reagan doesn't have as much faith in their patriarchal protector. Back in the barn, the broken pipe has by now flooded the underground safety chamber, leading the newborn Abbott baby to find itself in a real Moses situation. Even worse, one of those monsters is somehow downstairs now. So Evelyn has to
what?
very quietly grab her baby and hide behind this makeshift waterfall while the monster clicks
Oh,
at
'cause it's
her
making
and uses
noise.
its echolocation like a dolphin. Makes sense. It's like I always say, dolphins are the alien monsters of the sea. Before it can
Not-
fully detect her, though, the argument between the kids leads Marcus
argument
to
in
the
sign
grain
language.
silo room,
Love it.
and that noise distracts the alien away from Evelyn and the baby. It also alerts Lee to
So
where
that's
his
a different
children
one
are,
to-
and he watches as the monster runs towards the sound like a goddamn velociraptor. Reagan jumps down to save her brother from grain entrapment, which
is
like
a
I
real
mentioned
thing.
in the jigsaw kill count, is a seriously scary way
Yes,
to
it-
die.
yeah,
Also,
it
fun
actually
fact that I
happens.
really like, apparently the filmmakers spent their budget locally, including hiring local farmers to grow the 20 tons of corn needed for this scene. They also actually built that 70-foot silo and planted cornfields on the farm a year before production began.
There
so
was-
they kind of helped
there
revitalize
was,
this
director
little farming area in upstate New York. The kids
that,
avoid drowning in grain
like,
thanks to a
built
flat piece
a
of
farm
wreckage
or
that they
whatever.
both managed to get on top of. See, Jack
And then he, like,
Rose, two
it was
people
for a
can
film 'cause he didn't
think.
want to
It's
CGI
not that
it. He
hard.
wanted real corn, and then he, like,
Unfortunately, this
sold it
whole corny
afterwards.
mishap has caused way too much noise already. The kids shield themselves from the monster, who gets agitated over the feedback from Reagan's cochlear implant, and eventually gets so incensed that it runs away from them, tearing itself free through
So
the side
that's
of the
some
silo.
crazy
Them
plot
monster
armor.
claws be sharp, son. Lee gets over to the silo and finally
How is he not
reunites
making the
with
noise?
his children. But after a brief check-in with each other, they hear the monster nearby, so he sends the kids to a truck.
No,
that they have
stay
situated
together
on a
because
hill
of-
in case
I guess they haven't figured out
emergencies.
the-
Lee arms himself with an axe, but
the
he's too slow against the
cochlear-
monster, who knocks him aside
Oh, no.
and causes Marcus to call out.
okay.
The feedback in the cochlear implant gets to be too much for Reagan to handle, so she turns it off, inadvertently leaving them vulnerable to the monster when it charges at the truck to attack them. Lee gets back up and sees that his children are in jeopardy, but he knows that he doesn't have the strength to fight the monster off, and so he decides to do the only thing he can think of. He signs to his daughter that he loves her, in fact, that he has always loved her, and then gives her and his son a chance to escape with their lives.
Oh, he dead.
With that, the alien runs from the truck and charges at Lee, killing him with a swipe that the movie doesn't show us. This is one of those occasions where I won't complain about an off-screen kill, because we don't need to see this self-sacrificing father get torn to bloody bits.
We've already seen enough of what those things can do.
As Reagan watches the horror behind them, the vehicle rolls quietly down the hill and back to the farmhouse, where Evelyn is waiting to embrace the kids with love and protection. That protection means keeping these kids alive, so they all head into the basement where the baby is
kind of remind me of Bird Box a little bit, where, you know,
father had been putting in towards making her a new cochlear implant.
like,
don't cry, little girl. Not everyone can keep a neat workspace. With Marcus on
with the mom like being the protector now,
which is about to come in handy since one of those monsters is coming downstairs. It approaches Evelyn and Reagan slowly, trying to detect them, and that's when Lee's ridiculous whiteboard notes come in handy for Reagan. She realizes that the feedback from her cochlear implant, while painful for her, is an even bigger weakness for the monster, who is brought to its crab-like knees at the high-pitched sound. Inspiration strikes Reagan, and she slams the device against a microphone to create a supersonic attack that cracks this Venom-looking bastard's head right open, exposing the vulnerable flesh beneath its armor-like exterior.
Oh wait, that was armor? It wasn't skin?
Put it down with a headshot. Oh,
but now it's gonna let all of them know.
I'm not gonna put the alien on the count, because it's not exactly humanoid. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a good kill, Evelyn. Keep up the good work. She's gonna need to keep it up.
They have a way to fight back now.
Remember what else was on Lee's whiteboard?
There's 3 of them.
The fact that there are 3 aliens.
Confirmed. Could be more.
And it looks like that shotgun blast has brought the other 2 running towards the homestead. But as we've all seen by now, the Abbotts are strong and the Abbotts are survivors. So the movie ends with Reagan turning up the radio in preparation for more feedback, and Evelyn knocking that shotgun like a motherfucker.
I bet that's actual ASL. Knowing James, he probably learned it.
There were only 4 kills in A Quiet Place, and the victims consisted of 1 woman and 3 dudes. Although that first dude was a real little dude. With a runtime of 90 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 22.5 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Bo.
Why was this movie such a big deal? Is it because it was so different?
Super impactful, not only to the viewing audience, but also to the characters, who never quite got over it. Dull Machete for lamest kill will go to the woman in the woods they found already dead, or the man in the woods, since there was even less blood involved. I don't know. This movie's not really about the kills.
No,
and that's
it's not.
It. A Quiet Place was released in 2018 and has a sequel in development slated for May of 2020. I'll have another episode for you
May
next
2020.
week,
What was going on around that time?
This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count.
Oh yeah, and then I think next week's going to be Pet Cemetery. I think it's going to be 2.
Zach, David Wheeler, Jet Valaire, Liz Zarb, Alyssa Dale, Krista Allen, David, and Jesse Cruz. I know my signing probably isn't the best. I've never done it before. But I wish I had learned it. It seems like a very practical language to know. Thanks everyone.
The attempt at it. The screaming. Oh yeah, next we're gonna go back with another double up with Pet Cemetery 1 and 2, movie I know nothing about. I'm guessing it's gonna be like ghost animals, maybe, that are evil. I don't know. This was A Quiet Place. A little bit of a difference from My Bloody Valentine 3D, where that had Dean Winchester in it. That was quite wild. But yeah, this is A Quiet Place. Kind of interesting. It was kind of short. Kind of expected there to be more to it, but I guess you didn't really need more. I guess it's the whole, like, you want people to want more kind of deal. Like, you don't want it to, like, go on for too long, I suppose. Rather interesting. I really hope you enjoyed it. This is a very interesting video. Hopefully, I don't have any copyright issues with this one. I had a lot of copyright issues with Bird Box, I believe. I think that video is actually still blocked. When I posted it, it had no issues, and after a couple days of it being public, it got absolutely eviscerated by copyright and blocked. It was just, it was bad. It was so bad. But this is A Quiet Place. Next week's going to be a Pet Cemetery. Patrons get all the videos there early. Could not do this if it was not for them. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Hopefully I made just a tiny little bit better. But until next video, take care and keep the music.
were